Welcome to Pearls of Wisdom, your guide to extraordinary weddings and events. I'm your host, Ashley Miner, and we're here to share expert insights and inspiring stories. Let's dive into the art of creating unforgettable moments. Hello.
Hey.
Thank you for being here. This is my friend Jennifer Loganbill with Jen's Get Fit group.
Hello.
Of which I am a new follower and new participant in, but you don't know this yet, but I have been a long-time fan of you. We share some mutual friends, and every time I would see you out and about, I was like, I really want to be friends with her. How do I become friends with her?
Let's be friends.
So I am now making you do my podcast so that now we can be friends.
I know. I said I also have a podcast,
Yeah.
Mind to Muscle, and I've been on 2 other podcasts. So this is my 3rd one. It's funny when you change and you flip the script, you're like, oh, I have to be perfect for this. But I get it.
And I feel like sometimes we talked about this when I walked in, it takes it up a notch when you're also videoing it for YouTube because you're like, oh my gosh, I have to look good. I have to be on, but you're gorgeous. So it's all good.
Usually I just film my own podcasts and shoot them in my closet.
Yeah.
And it's like no makeup on, 11 o'clock at night. Or in your car. Have you ever filmed one in your car?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just listened to one of yours while you were in the car. You were like, okay, I'm in the car going to Kansas City or something.
Yep.
And I was like, that's brilliant. I need to do that.
I'm always like, work smarter, not harder. Let's go.
I feel you.
Time management, which is why my workouts are the way they are.
Yep. Okay, so let's get into that. Introduce yourself. Tell us how you got here, who you are, all the things.
Okay. I'm Jen Loganbill. I am a nurse formerly. I still am, but I don't work as a nurse anymore. I have been lifting weights for about 15 years. It started on a journey because of self-comparison, really. And I hated cardio. And I was like, my high school boyfriend at the time was like, let's lift weights. You can really change your body composition. I was like, all right, let's do it. So we started going to the gym.
It doesn't involve running,
right.
Sure.
Yeah. And then I fell in love with it. After the first workout, I was like, oh, this is awesome. And I would see these women walk into the gym, peek over at the weight side, feel intimidated, go straight to the elliptical. And I'm like, please come work out with me so I can have a woman over here because you can get so much more out of this than just killing yourself on the treadmill or the elliptical. And you're not eating, you're starving yourself, crash dieting, and overworking on cardio. And you're not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
And so I started this JGFG in 2018 in the guest bedroom of my house. It was totally a God thing. I was working PRN as a nurse, helping my husband with our trucking company. And I had 2 kids. My son just turned 6 months old, and my daughter was 2.
Oh my gosh.
And busy. We were busy, and I had simultaneously 5 or 6 of family members, friends reach out and say, hey, Jen, I noticed you bounced back, which I don't like that term, very quickly after you had Reed. What are you doing? And I'm like, I'm just lifting weights. What I was doing at the gym, because I can't find anyone to watch my 2 kids while I go to the gym. I just grabbed dumbbells and I just started doing it at home. And they were like, well, can you tell me what you're doing? Have you ever lifted weights? And they're like, no. Okay, well, I'm going to waste my time if I tell you. Let me show you. So I set up my phone. I started recording myself, doing what I was doing. It was about an hour. And then I trimmed it down to about, at the time, it was 24 minutes. And because that, with a 6-month-old, that's all I could give, 24 minutes.
Yeah.
And a 2-year-old. And they were in the workouts with me in my guest bedroom. I was recording it on my phone. I created a Facebook group, which started with 15 people. It was 15 close friends, family. And in the first 3 months, I went from 15. And then I was like, I need to pay. I need something for this worth my time. So I charged everyone $15 just for some time. They got a brand new workout every single day. Back then, it was it was chest day on Monday because I followed my gym schedule. So it was chest day on Monday, Tuesday was back day, Wednesday was shoulder day, Thursday was arms, Friday was leg day, Saturday
I'm glad
full
that's
body.
now reversed.
It is reversed after many, many years and requests. So, and I'm an analytical person. Everyone was skipping the Friday workout. And I was like, okay, which muscle group can we double up on a day that everyone hits while shoulders and chests align together? So I flipped it. Now everyone does legs on Monday because we had the most attendance on Monday. So moving backwards, in the first 3 months, I went from 15 members to 100. And I was like, what?
Yeah.
There's this need. These women don't know what they're doing with the weights, and they want to follow along. They want to feel like I'm working out with my best friend. And they don't want to go to the gym. General vibe was, I don't have the time, I don't know what to do, and I'm uncomfortable. And there's men looking at me. And truthfully, as a gym goer in the past, they're not looking at you. They're looking at their muscles in the mirror. But it feels like they're looking at you.
Yeah.
They're not. I actually haven't stepped foot in a gym, and I couldn't even tell you how long.
Yeah.
And so we started 15 to 100. And since 2018, when I started, I've helped over 14,000 members all over the U.S.
Yeah.
And I feel blessed and honored. And now we flip. Monday is leg day. Same split otherwise. Tuesday back, Wednesday shoulders. It's Thursday arms, Friday chest. Saturday you get a full body strength Pilates. And I give 5 new bonus workouts like a deep core series, abs, cardio, whatever, booty focus. They're fun, short, dance, Zumba, all the fun things. I give 5 new bonus workouts a month. And it's really, I think what people want the most after almost 7 years of doing this is community is number one thing. The workouts are great. They're new every day. That's what people love and keep coming back for. But the community of true women empowering women really happens here in JGFG. Yeah. Like you always see those memes. Really, that's what it is here.
Yeah.
And I think you can speak for that now that you're part of it.
1,000%. You know, the reason why I actually joined was I was like, okay, I'm going to do 75 hard. I was already working with the personal trainer 3 times a week. I was like, okay, but I have to find something to fill, 7 days a week, 2 workouts a day. And I was like, I'll join Jen's. I wanted to do it. It's an affordable price. Let's do it.
Yep.
So I paid for 3 months because that's how long my 75 hard was. And after I just kind of supplemented the workouts for 2 weeks, I was like, I better just go all in and see what this is about.
Yep.
And so, I was paying $600+ a month to see a trainer 3 times a week, which is like embarrassing to actually say that out loud, but I was. And that's how the only way I thought I would see results. But now I've been going almost a full month of 5 days a week in JGFG, and I'm loving it. And that is really the biggest part of it is the community. You get into the Facebook group and you're like, oh my gosh, I have like 25 friends in here that I had no clue were in here. This is so fun. And everyone's tagging each other as accountability. Like, did you get your workout in or whatever? And it's just, it puts like the fun and the excitement back into the workout because sometimes the workouts suck.
Yeah.
Not because you suck, but because it's like, this is hard and I hate doing lunges.
Yes. And that's the thing, so I focus on progressive overload. My workouts will never be easy, but they're doable. I have members 18. My oldest lady's 83. She's been with me for 4 years.
Yeah.
She wakes up every morning. She grabs her 2-pound dumbbells, and she does the best that she can do.
Yep.
I give alternative moves for that. People have bad knees. People have a bad back. My pregnant mamas. I give alternatives, and I meet you where you are on your season, your journey, your ability, the level that you know. I have a Jumpstart series. I give one-on-one macro coaching to every member, and it's $30 a month.
Which is so crazy.
Yeah.
Like you are always available in your messages. You're doing macro coaching for probably majority of the people in the group.
Yeah.
And it's $30 a month. That's like $0.
Right. That's your
girl math.
A couple Starbucks drinks a couple times eating out.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, a gym membership to a nice gym is way more than that a month.
Yeah.
Obviously, if Planet Fitness or whatever, that's $10. But to be able to do it in your house, for me, I wake up and I go to my living room and I do it. And my 4-year-old usually wakes up halfway through, and then he does his little Danny go,
But here's the thing: you're
stuff.
Showing him. That's what I love about it, and why I started this and continue to do this every single day for almost 7 years. And it's because you're setting the example for your kid and the people watching you, even just people who are probably silent watchers, but you're an example to them. And that's also the beauty of JGFG, is because you don't know who's watching. Yep. I have over 7,000 active members, but there's roughly 5,000 people in the Facebook group, all women in the Facebook group. And they're watching you, and you get what you give out of the group. And some people have been with me for 6 years and never posted one time.
Yeah.
And it's crazy. And they're like, that's just not my thing. But this person, and this person inspires me. Because some days when I don't want to show up, I'm just scrolling and I see, oh, she has 4 kids and she did it. I have 1 kid. I'm getting my butt up and I'm going.
Yeah.
And so I love that for that reason, and also for your little people. They're watching you. You're showing them, hey, we work out to get strong, not to get skinny, not to be small. And in JGFG, we don't focus on what we're losing. We focus on what we're gaining.
Yep.
And
1,000%. 1,000%. You know, I've been on this health journey for the last 2 years. You know, my first year I lost almost 100 pounds. And then over the last year, I've lost like another 45, 50 pounds. But what I've gained in the last year is I've lifted weights over the last year. And so I've gained a ton of muscle. And my 4-year-old knows, like, he's like, okay, Mom, you're done with your workout with Jen. Can we take our picture? And he's like, I'm only going to flex. And I'm like, I freaking love that.
Yeah.
Like, I am not teaching you that Mommy is unhappy with her body, or I'm not obsessing over it. You just see that you're a part of your mom's life is we wake up and we lift weights. And then at night, sometimes I get on my walking pad while we're like watching TV or whatever. And he's always the one that's like, are you getting on your walking pad? I'm like, oh, well, you asked, so I guess I should now. But
or going on a walk. We're just normalizing movement.
Yep.
And it's not just about the body, it's body and mind. In JGFG especially, that's what I focus. It's, we're working out. But guess what? Everything elevates when you start working out.
Yeah.
Your mood. You want to just be better, because why am I going to show up and put in the work for my 30-minute strength training workout and then go eat like crap?
Yeah.
And some days you do, and that's balance and it's life, and we move on. And I teach you those things. So my goal with macro coaching is, yes, we're going to use it as a tool, but you're going to use it to be sustainable and intuitively eat for the rest of your life. Focusing on, am I getting minimum 30 grams of protein every meal? Am I getting 10 grams of protein every snack? And those are tools. Track macros for 3, 6 months, a year, whatever. And then stop and pause and say, can I do this without tracking? Because that is the goal to achieve. So I haven't tracked macros since January.
Yeah.
And I can intuitively eat, but it's because I've been doing this for so long that I can look at a meal and be like, this is about 15, 20 grams. I'm going to go get 10 more grams. Maybe that's extra meat. Maybe that, it's so easy. And on one of my podcasts, it's when my husband first started tracking his macros. It's about a year ago. And I was like, when you look at a banana, what do you think? He says, I think it's a banana. And I was like, okay, now that you follow macros, when you look at a banana, what do you think? He's like, carbs. Yeah.
Yep.
We're training. And my goal is to teach you to look at a food and be like, this is just carbs. People get so caught up in, well, I eat nuts and I eat fruit, and so I'm healthy. But you're just not fueling your body properly. So if you can focus on your body weight in grams of protein per day, get minimum 8,000 steps a day, minimum 80 ounces of water, and move your body for 30 minutes, whether it's a workout, a walk, whatever, your life can change.
Yep. 1,000%. 1,000%. I think if I heard that 2 years ago about intuitive eating, I would have been like, oh, funny. Like, that's cute. Intuitive eating to me would be like, I feel like going and eating a hot tamale.
Right.
Right. But once you, kind of get into the swing of things and you train your body over time and your mind over time, intuitive eating, like, I think that's pretty much how I eat. For the most part. I'm looking at Nan. Nan's looking at me. She's my alarm clock of like, Ashley, you need to eat. And I'm like, oh.
Forgot to eat.
You're right.
When you do events, you forget.
All the time. Well, normal days. I sometimes forget. Okay. So one of the things that I'm uber passionate about, obviously, is health and training for a lifetime of just being healthy. I have a 4-year-old. I want to be here for like 105 more years because I want to meet my grandkids, my great-grandkids, and their grandkids, I know that's not possible, but maybe.
Goals.
Maybe sometime. But another thing that I'm really passionate about is this, because it's my industry, where brides are obsessive about looking a certain way in a dress or fitting into a certain dress size or whatever. What I'm noticing in the group right now, because it's fall, it's wedding season, there's so many girls who are like, oh my gosh, it's my wedding week. Or then coming back the next week and posting photos of them in their wedding dress and like, oh my gosh, I've never felt so beautiful in my life. Thank you so much. And so what I want to talk about is the difference between this like wedding diet culture of like, I have to be stick thin and a certain weight to feel pretty on my wedding day, which is such BS, versus the way that you do things, which is let's feel great. And obviously a natural, like, whatever thing down the road is I'm going to look great too.
Right. So I love it. When we talked about this, I was like, yes, because I have so many brides that will join. And they're like, okay, Jen, my wedding is, let's say, a short-term wedding. So my wedding's in May. I need to do whatever I can. Or let's even pivot. I have a vacation scheduled in May.
Oh, yeah.
It's just everywhere. I have this event I'm speaking at on this state. What do I have to do to
I want to lose
best?
20 pounds by May.
And I'm like, okay, first of all, we're focusing on what we're going to gain here. We're not going to focus on what we're losing. The goal is to make you feel. So my slogan is strongest in the room. And that doesn't mean like we're better than anyone else, that you're walking in snooty, nothing like that. The goal is to be the strongest in the room, and is that you can walk in any room and know that God put you in there for a reason, and that you can show up as your best, most confident self in that room, no matter who, what, where it is. And that's what that means. And so the goal is you feel the strongest in the room on your wedding day or whatever that event is. And getting rid of, I have to lose 20 pounds. And I train you to think, okay, we're lifting weights. The goal is, and what I like to pick. So a lot of these brides will message me and they're like, okay, what do I got to do? How much cardio do I need? And I'm like, stop. We're not doing that. We're focused on steps because we're lowering your cortisol levels because you're planning a wedding. So they're already skyrocketing. Hormones and fat loss go hand in hand, no matter what. So if you're just going to run miles and miles and miles, you're increasing your cortisol. Walking is the secret sauce for fat loss. And strength training. Those two together will change your life. And so I don't care, any age. And so then we're focusing on lowering cortisol. I'm going to help you suggest what are we going to do to get there. Is that food-wise, supplement-wise, herb-wise? What are we doing? Because I take a natural approach. And then we're going to focus on, what does your work schedule look like? We're going to build a split for you. Okay, if you can show up 3 days a week, great. Let's go walking on these 2 days. Or we're going to vice versa. I can one-on-one give you the one-on-one attention that you're going to need to look the best for this event at $0 extra for your $30 membership. And so it's quickly, I would say after 3 weeks of doing it, as much as they participate, and I'm like, you have to participate. So one of my members, she just had her wedding. I think you know her. Her name's Callie. She's in the group. She just had her wedding last week, and she started a while ago. And she was naturally a thin build. And her pictures that she posted in the group of her wedding, she's like, look at my delts, Jen. Look at my back. You planned Angie and Eric's wedding. It's my favorite thing when brides send me their pictures of that they get back, of their sneak peeks, and they're like, Jen, look at my delts. Look, you built those. And I'm like, no, you did. I just showed you how to do it. And that's why I keep doing that, and a million other reasons are why I do what I do, because then you're using those tools. You're using JGFG, the knowledge that you've learned about stop focusing on what you need to lose, and let's gain some muscle. Let's gain the confidence. Let's gain the strength. Let's gain the knowledge about nutrition so you can use it past your event, past your speaking event, past the vacation. And you can have that day. The bride is like, oh, we have to double up my workouts the week of the wedding. No, I want you to go on walks. I need your mind to be right the week of your wedding. Show up as a normal week. Don't do anything different. Maybe we're avoiding fast food. We're prepping to make sure your skin looks the best. And that's at least 30 days in advance. So I go all in with my brides.
That's awesome.
Which actually is really funny. Again, I totally believe in like God winks. I have been building a bride membership.
Oh, look at this.
I know. It's so funny.
Use code Ashley for $8 off for your first month. Thank you.
Yes. I was going to tell you. Yes. So it's a bride membership. And I've talked to some of my brides about it. What would be the best? And really, I'm going to have a 3-month one and a 6-month one. And you're going to get the one-on-one tailored. You're going to get a bride guide. And on there, it's going to talk about everything you need to know to physically feel the strongest in the room on your wedding day, but also my tips holistically on how you're going to make your skin glow and gut health, about bloat. Those, and easing your way and setting intentions to just be your best self on that day. So then you don't look back at that and you're like, oh my gosh, I had armpit fat hanging over my dress when I look at this picture. No, you look at that picture and you're like, dang, my muscles look good. That's the goal.
I hate to admit this, but the week of my wedding, I was doing 2 days on the treadmill, like running one, incline walks on the other, hardly ate, and like for what? Like I did look very beautiful at my wedding. Like I look at the pictures, I'm like, oh, I was so pretty. But now I'm like, gosh, that was a lot of work.
And you remember how you felt building up.
Yes. I literally went to the gym on the day of my wedding. But I got married on New Year's Eve. I had nothing else to do because my ceremony wasn't until like 8 p.m. So I was like, oh, might as well go. But I went because I was like, oh, I feel so bloated.
So I have on my bride membership, I'm going to create a workout morning, like the night before.
Yeah.
In the morning of bride. Yeah. So we can pump up the muscles that are going to show in your wedding dress. Yep. So then I one of my favorites is when I get pictures of brides and they're sitting there doing curls and in and outs and shoulder press.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So they can pump up their shoulders. And now they're like, tell me you're in JGFG without telling me. I'm
Heck
like,
yeah.
True.
I love it.
So there's so much toxicity around.
Yes.
Just social too. Yeah. On social media. There's so much. I didn't get married when social media was really a thing.
Yeah.
10 years ago. It's crazy what in 10 years, how much that can change.
Yep.
I can't imagine planning my wedding with what the society expects of a wedding. I'm nervous. I have 2 daughters.
Yeah.
Of what that's going to look like.
It's crazy. The amount of pressure that I think these girls feel because, you know, back when we were planning our weddings, how long have I been married? I think 10 years almost, something, 9 or 10. I don't know.
It's
anyway,
different.
Yeah. Like, you know, it was Pinterest. Mm-hmm. You know, you had all these pins. Now it's Pinterest. It's Instagram. It's TikTok. It's all of these things that you can get on and get all of these ideas. And, oh, I have to do this TikTok. And, oh, now I have to like have this little thing ready for this. And it's like, oh my gosh, like what are we doing? We're losing sight.
Now they have wedding planners.
Yeah.
I didn't. But it's crazy. Just as like a small business owner, the expectations, if I could get rid of social media, I would.
Oh, 1,000%.
And if we could go back to like the just random Facebook where you could just post, like I totally would because the expectations for one, just small businesses alone, but then brides, the pressure, it's crazy.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. Well, I could talk all day about entrepreneurship and especially because your name is attached to your brand.
Yes.
I'm sure the pressure to show your face every single day on social media is insane.
Yeah.
I did not put my name in my brand, but it still is me. And I feel that every day. I'm like, okay, I got to show up in stories. Okay, I got to do this reel. Got to blah, blah, blah. It's so much.
You have to be Ashley.
Yeah.
You have to be on, or like I have to be Jen.
Yeah.
It's exhausting. I take breaks. I have mastered. I can't say mastered. I haven't mastered. Who's mastered anything? I feel like I've improved on balance because I preach it. It's so easy to preach it and tell everyone else what to do, but then to do it yourself is almost impossible.
Yeah.
So balance of work life, being a mom, being a wife, being a friend, a daughter. I've tried to separate all of that. And I've gotten better-ish. Yeah. But the social media, then you're like, did you see my reel where I was like, what it's like to be a social or a business owner? Yeah. Take pictures and, should I just go on vacation to be on vacation or should I make this a reel?
How can I write off this vacation while I'm on it? I know. Yeah, believe me, I know. Okay, one thing that I know about you is that your husband and you are in business together. You mentioned earlier you guys used to have your trucking. Do you still have your trucking company?
We sold that out in 2020.
Nice. But I know he does a lot of things for JGFG for you, and then you guys also have Fit Factory supplements. What is it like being in business with your spouse? Because I've done it before, and it's
a lot.
Tough.
It's hard. The hardest part, I think, is setting aside this is a work date and this is a us date.
Yeah.
This is for us and not overflowing. I was really bad about balancing all of it because I tried to be.
It's so easy to go out to dinner and be like, oh, did you remember to do da-da-da-da? And those lines get super blurred. Yeah.
So my number one thing that I have done for myself that I feel like has positively impacted my marriage and just entrepreneurs as a couple, because we also, my husband and I own Maxit Motors and Top Notch Athletics. And and so that alone, so we have 4 big businesses and I hired a mentor over a year ago, and that was the best thing for me. Because if I have an idea, I can meet with her. We meet together once a month, and I can vent to her. I can bounce ideas off of her. I can talk to her about things that I know maybe my husband's just going to be biased to me because he has skin in the game too. Yeah. And I am always I'm always coming up. It's true entrepreneur mindset. Like mid-workout, I will turn off my workout. I'll stop recording. I'll be done. And I'll look at my employees and they're like, I've got a new business idea. Yeah. And they're like, does it ever turn off?
No. Yeah, I know.
No, as I was recording a workout, I literally came up with 4 new strategies. Yeah. And I'm in the middle. I have 4 big projects that I'm working on right now that no one knows about except for Johnny, my employees, and my mentor. Yeah. And the people involved, obviously. And I think that's the best because she then can say, put this down, it ends right here. Go on a date with your husband, like a real date. Yep. And so we actually thought about this the other day. We have not gone on a trip alone, just me and him, since our honeymoon. Yeah. We've taken our kids. We've gone on couples trips, but never just a trip, me and him. Yeah. And so I'm like, okay, we have to get that on the books. But we schedule once a month, we'll schedule a date night, just me and him. And then once a week, we'll do like a work meeting where we sit down and sharing a Google Calendar. What are you doing? What am I doing? Sharing our notes, our ideas. And then it ends at that date. Doesn't cross over to home. Yeah. But it's never perfect. Any tips from you?
No, I have not one tip. My husband and I have not been in business together for a few years, but we still have parts to play, like in each other's businesses and whatever. And, I said to him, so what was it? 3 years ago, we actually separated for 8 months because I was like, listen, the only thing we have in common right now is work. Yeah. And that we have got to take a step back here. This is not good. And that was the best thing that ever happened to our marriage was separating, coming back together. And then now there's a hard line drawn of hey, when I want to ask you for help in my business, you can help me. But if I don't ask, I don't need you to solve it for me. But he is very much like you where he has 25 ideas a day and he doesn't hesitate in sharing them with me. And he'll be like, okay, what about if Delight did this? And I'm like, oh, stop. And now he's making friends with my friends, looking at you, Brad Beard. And he's like, okay, don't you think Ashley should do this? And I'm like, butt out. Yeah. Stay out of my business. But it works. We manage.
And there are hard seasons, or there are seasons where it feels so easy. And when you're in a hard season, just focus on how good that good season felt. Oh, we could get back to that. Yep. How do we get there? What's the strategy? I'm a strategy person. What's it look like to get back there or improve that? Yeah. But it's hard to not have crossover.
It is. And I think going back to what you just said of I know I can get back there, but I can't just name the problem and sit there. Yeah. Right? It's the same thing. If you're not happy with your body, you can't just say, I'm not happy with my body. Yeah. You're going to stay there. You have to have a strategy and a way to move forward, not just sit in the problem all the time.
I wrote this in my notes.
Jen came very prepared with notes. Ashley never comes prepared with
my own podcast. I have 0 notes, but when I'm on someone else's, I will. It's one of my favorite sayings, just really as a whole, is what doesn't change won't change. Yep. And you can use that anywhere, but especially in fitness. If you can't get up and move your body for 10 minutes, nothing's going to change. Yep. Start with 10 minutes. If people start, Jen, I've never worked out before. Great. I have a jumpstart series. It's 5 days. It's going to warm you up. I'm going to teach you form. I'm going to teach you this. They're 10 minutes, 15, and they progressively meet to the 30. You can do 10 minutes. Yep. Even if you do 5, if you can show up for 3 days a week, what does not change? It's never going to change. You have to put one foot in front of the other. Motivation comes after movement. And you're not always going to have that motivation. So having discipline, and that's what I teach also with the mind and body part, is creating discipline. If you make it a routine every single day, when you wake up, that alarm goes off. I do this. My workout clothes are laid out. I'm going to put on my shoes. I'm going to press play. You have a routine. It's not ever going to feel hard because it's part of it. And I always say, working out is very similar to brushing your teeth. You're not going to go to bed without brushing your teeth. You're not going to wake up and start your day without brushing your teeth. You feel gross all day. You feel, I got to do this. It's in the back of your mind. I didn't brush my teeth this morning. I'm sorry, my breath stinks. Right. That sort of thing. you didn't do your workout. Your muscles are going to feel soft. Your brain's going to feel foggy. You're going to feel lethargic. You're going to probably choose bad food that you wouldn't have chose if you actually worked out.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to be more intentional when you show up and brush your teeth every single day.
Yep.
So in the group, some people who have not heard me say that, they're like, what does it mean to brush? Why are these people saying I brush my teeth?
Yeah.
Literally comparing it, showing up for your body and your mind is the same as brushing your teeth.
Yep.
So brush your teeth.
Yeah. It's so true. Even me, who I've been, I was an athlete my whole life. And even with a bigger body, I was still active like multiple times a week. And now over the last year, where I've been very active over the last year and building these habits, there are times where I'm like, I can't get myself motivated to go. Motivation is not enough. It's a part of your life. It's a part of your routine. This is just who I am. This is what I do. At 8:00, I work out or whatever it is.
And it makes you better. Mm-hmm. And it bleeds over to being a mom, being a person, your business, a wife. It all bleeds over. And when you start and you show up for yourself, then you can show up better for everyone else.
And you can cuss, scream, and cry the whole time.
Guess what? I can't hear you. Right.
But you're moving. You're doing it. One thing that I'm also very passionate about is making all of my vendor friends feel better in their bodies, because this job is very labor intensive. Like I am on my feet sometimes 16 hours a day for someone's wedding. Photographers, they're carrying these heavy cameras around. Videographers, same thing. Like everyone has their own things, but we're all on our feet for hours and hours a day. And so a big part of, sometimes I'll get on my social media and I'm like, just got my workout done. Who else did? And sometimes I'll have people that are like, you just did a wedding yesterday. Why would you work out? And it's like, well, this is who I am. This is just what I do. But also because I have a wedding next weekend and I can't feel like crap next weekend going into it because I'm not fully serving that client.
And you don't want to be so defeated from, wow, my feet hurt, my back hurts, I am exhausted from this workout or from this whole wedding day, because you're training your body and your mind to be able to have what I always say to my members: if you're uncomfortable, you're growing. And every single day you're uncomfortable during one of my workouts. Like I said, they're not easy. They're not hard. They're not defeating, but there's going to be moves where you're like, oh, I don't want to do this. But you do it, and guess what? You just overcame an obstacle. And so those build, and then you're using them in real life. Whenever you're like, I have this 16-hour wedding, my back hurt, and you can overcome because you did the hard things already.
Yeah.
And you can show up and do hard stuff.
Totally. And I can see a difference, in people who are very active and get to a wedding day and they're breezing through it. Yeah. And then there's people who are moaning and complaining the whole time. And what do you think the client's thinking when they're looking at you? They're like, oh my gosh, are they okay? And that's taking away from their wedding day, which I don't think is
because fair. As you guys, as vendors for this wedding, you are showing up for them. This is 100% about them all day long. For that 16 hours, it's about them. And so you showing up before a wedding for a workout, that gives you time for you to be able to show up for yourself. So then now when I walk through this door, I'm showing up for this person all day long.
Yeah.
And I think being a part of JGFG and the Sweaty Sisterhood, it kind of changes your perspective to be able to clap for other women and be excited and proud of other women. And you're serving yourself, and that's not selfish. So then you can be better for other people too and inspire other people. And I have a question for you.
Okay, please. Are we switching roles now?
My natural, right? On your journey, I have a lot of women who have been on a similar journey to you. Thousands, really. And they have achieved this different physique than what they once had. It's hard to make sure and have the support system that you wish that you had. And it's usually, and I tell women when they come to me about this, it's because maybe you're making them feel a little bit insecure about themselves, or maybe they're like, wow, I could never achieve that. But they can. Yeah. They just have to start. How has that been from you and your perspective on now starting JGFG? Because I have also followed you for a very long time. And seeing your journey has been amazing.
Yeah, thank you.
You should be so proud of it.
I am.
And you made a post once where you were like, I felt like maybe this was kind of the energy that you were getting from someone in your life.
Oh, and I know where we're going. Yes.
And so my mind is it easier now that you're in JGFG because you have 6,000 women supporting you, cheering you on every single day, empowering you. Good job. You did it. You have a place that's safe where you can make a post if you're like, I didn't feel like doing my workout today. I didn't want to do split squats. But guess what, Jen? We did it anyways. We did it mad. That's what I say. Just do it mad.
Yeah. Do
you feel like that is less loud of the negative people who maybe aren't in JGFG for you, and it's not so much a mind game?
It is interesting because I've been very, very public about my journey over the last 2 years. And I think when you are, I'm sure that you experience this, when you're very public about your life or your journey, people think that they have a say.
Yeah.
And so, I've posted even just like a picture of myself, and someone on my birthday said, "Happy birthday, you're too skinny." And I'm like, wow, that's quite a accomplishment because I have lost an entire one of me. Like I weighed 270 pounds 2 years ago. You weren't telling me that 2 years ago.
Right.
And so, it's like, it's just very interesting the comments that you get when you are like more public. It does not bother me.
For someone who maybe isn't as mentally strong,
right?
It can spiral.
Yeah, for sure. And I think because I grew up as an athlete, my family is very like black and white and like competitive. And so I've always just kind of had that like edge a little bit. But there are days where I'm like, oh, that was a crushing that was a crushing comment to me that I'm too skinny. Like that's rude. But yeah, I think having a community of women who truly do lift each other up, and like over the last week, I don't know what the heck's going on with your marketing, but you've had a lot of new members in like the last couple of weeks. And a lot of people, they're like, I'm so ashamed to be here. I'm so ashamed that this is where I'm starting from. I'm on week 1. Or one girl the other day was like, I could only do 10 minutes of the workout. And I'm on there like, that's amazing. Great job.
Right.
And, trying to be what I needed 2 years ago when I wasn't as public in my journey. And I needed someone to say like, oh my gosh, you're doing great, outside of my very tight circle of friends who knew that I was on a journey to begin with. And my husband, who was like, you've always been beautiful. I'm like, shut up. You have to say that.
Right. You're obligated. I like that you said that because I always use that term, be who you needed. So to my members who have been here for almost 7 years with me, be who you needed on that day one. Be who you needed whenever 10 minutes was hard for you.
Yeah.
And now you can do the daily and a bonus. Some people don't start out like that. And if you ever read the comments, do you ever read them? Because I do. This is what keeps me going. Someone's having a hard day. They'll post about it in the group, and I read the comments, and I'm like, I don't need to comment.
I wasn't even here. Right.
Because this is amazing. And they're like, you've got this. And it immediately pulls them out of the funk.
For sure. For sure. It's pretty awesome. I think what you've built is so amazing. I think a lot of people, like you have said, regardless of age, can, benefit from this. And I know some of the women drag their husbands into the workouts and stuff. And sometimes Johnny, will join you. I think that's really awesome. But, I just think as a whole, everything that you're doing is so awesome.
Thank you.
I know that you hear it every day. Everyone treats you like a celebrity in the group because you are a celebrity, but you are doing an amazing service for the world. And I really do think it's like the beginning of JGFG.
When you said that,
I told you that
I'm working on these big projects. And when you said that to me, I was like, I needed that because my goal is we really are just beginning.
Yeah.
From what I'm getting ready to launch in the next year. It's so cool. And I can't wait to share it with everyone. It's just going to elevate everything. And so I truly also believe we're just in the beginning. But whenever it's your business, you're like, oh my gosh, you're so
am I doing
critical.
it? Yeah.
Is this good enough?
Yeah.
And
I'm 5 years in, and I was literally crying my eyes out to my husband the other day. And I was like, is this it? Like, is this it? Is this what I worked so hard for? Is this all of it?
Yeah.
And he's like, Ashley, you're only 5 years in. Like, these brands take years and years and years to get to the point where you want to get to. Like, just keep going. Put one foot in front of the other. But
it's hard to not compare yourself also.
Oh my gosh. We could talk about that forever.
Yeah. And that goes in the physical world, as your business, as a mom, as everything. You can't compare your wedding to somebody else's. My wedding was $10,000. I don't know what $10,000 would buy you for a wedding today.
Pizza?
Probably. Yeah. Pizza and some soda maybe.
Yeah.
But 10 years ago, my wedding was awesome.
Yeah.
And it was crazy. Like, my mom and dad paid for my wedding, and it was everything we wanted and more. But I'm like, I don't think $10,000 could buy a wedding today.
It would buy you a venue.
Yeah.
And a photographer.
Crazy. It's insane. And so just know that whether you're talking about your body or your wedding or being a mom or a wife or just a human, just stay in your lane.
Yep.
Focus on you. Don't compare yourself to anybody else, because your journey, your body looks completely different than everyone else's. And you will lose your why. I always say have a why for everything. You'll lose your why very quickly if you get caught up in what everyone else is doing.
I needed that. That was good. Preach. Okay, last question that I always ask everybody. If you were not doing JGFG, if this was not your career, if this was nowhere even on the spectrum of your passion, what would you be doing? And I'm going to take nursing out as well.
Yeah. I would be a kindergarten teacher.
What? That sounds horrible. Why?
I always wanted to be a teacher. Or I would, if I could do it again, kindergarten teacher or stay-at-home mom, homeschool.
Yeah. Okay.
I would homeschool my kids. Totally. We have chickens. We have 18 chickens. We just got a puppy. I would probably have goats and cows and pigs. We have a 125-acre farm, and it would be full of animals. I'd ride a horse every day. I would totally be like a homemaker.
Okay. Well, you can join my dream, because I have said since day one, my dream is to have a farm. But I don't want to actually take care of the farm. I just want the animals.
Yeah. You can hire someone for the farm.
Yeah. But then it's also kind of morphed into like, I want like a miniature animal farm with like mini ponies, mini donkeys.
Like a petting zoo, pumpkin patch. Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of morphed.
Yeah.
But
I would be a homemaker.
Man, how many times have we gotten the farmer answer? It's a lot.
It's probably why my husband married me, because we could talk about this all day, but he came from Tipton, very small community, and I didn't even know what FFA was. And so I came from Sedalia, learning what all of this was, and I'm like, this is so cool. People actually go to school and learn about cows. This is so cool. I know. And that really kind of took me there. But then fitness got in the way, and I love it. I show up every day because I know this is God's mission for me. And just the testimonials, I get notes every single day, letters from my members, my sweaty sisters, saying how I've changed their lives. Very personal, deep. And I make this, so I show up every day. And I can read 2. I have a whole stack in my office, and I read 2 a day. And I'll read one from back, usually tears, or some of them super motivational for me. And I'll put it down, and I'm like, it's pre-workout time. Let's go. And that is what fuels me to be like, that's what I keep coming back for.
Yep. I have a little mailbox of all of my thank you notes. And when I'm having a hard day, I just go back and I read a thank you note. And I'm like, see, you don't suck.
You don't suck. You're doing amazing. And I hope you can plan my next JGFG event.
Let's do it.
It's great. It's awesome.
Okay. Where can people find you on the social medias?
At jens.get.fit.group. Jen Loganbill. You type me in and you'll find me. jensgetfitgroup.com, and you can use Ashley's code for $8 off your first month. Code Ashley.
Yeah, I love it. I've never been an affiliate for anything, so thanks for believing in me.
And now we're gonna go work out.
Yay! Oh gosh. Okay. Thank you so much for being here. You're amazing.
Thanks for having me.
Ta-ta.
Bye.
Thanks so much for tuning in to this week's Pearls of Wisdom podcast. I'm your host, Ashley Miner with Delight Events. As always, you can find us all over the internet by following us on Instagram at Delight Events Mo and on Facebook. And please consider leaving us a review here for the podcast. Subscribe if you're on YouTube or on Spotify. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.